Friends and enemies and assorted potted plants. I was reading a news report in the process of researching the assault on women and other people who can become pregnant. I stumbled upon a news report from the AP talking about how the solution that the Uvalde Police Department had to their police not wanting to confront the person who had the big rifle was to hire more cops. That's absurd, but it's not absurd. There's a rationale behind it, and it's very simple. Um, the state, our state, defaults to violence for all of its solutions. That's not just in the sense of solving every problem, every kind of societal problem that it's possible to solve with the police. Homelessness, throw police at it. Drug abuse, throw police at it. Gun crime, throw police at it. It's also in more insidious ways. Like someone, I read this somewhere or heard it in a video somewhere. The three things that we're going to have to solve in order to destroy capitalism, the three weapons of capitalism, are hunger and houselessness and poverty. And all of these things are kinds of violence, in that they are ways that the state forces you to make decisions that you would not, under penalty of pain and suffering. And you see it with the GOP, right? It's just. I remember there was a member of the GOP a few years back who was saying that a hungry dog is a loyal dog, which is just factually untrue. But also, the quiet part to that statement is them saying, yeah, we're willing to injure our constituents if it gains us a political advantage. That's violence. That's them doing violence to people they want to vote for them. So, and it's not even just that, it's fucking. It becomes violence is the easiest solution to every problem. Because the entire infrastructure of the country is slanted towards using violence to solve problems. The reason that they wanted more cops in Uvalde, the reason they said, oh, we didn't have enough cops, is because it's not because they didn't have enough cops. It's because it's just easy. It's easy to hire more cops, to buy more gear for them, to fucking put them through training, because all those things are already there. Because the means to procure and manufacture them are already there. The means to do something different. The means to, I don't know, dismantle the police system and put it into a more equitable system that treats mental health and helps people find housing and jobs. That doesn't exist. It would take 10 times as much money and other resources and manpower to even create those things, because you'd be building them more or less from the ground up. And the violence is just easier. And I think, this is an aspect of especially capitalism, but especially capitalism in decaying countries where democracy is decaying, that people don't talk about enough. Violence isn't just happening because of white supremacy or totalitarianism or authoritarianism. Violence is happening because the state has made violence the easiest possible solution. And there's a flip side to this, the thing that I'm going to claim is positive. I think we should be wary of people who suggest violence as a solution for our problems, right? You'll find people, like, you'll find very heavily authoritarian kinds of people, both on the left and the right, who say that the only option that we have left is violence, and that we need to strike back against people. And on one hand, I understand that sort of gut reaction, but on the other hand, it's wrong. Whether or not you stop the state is not a matter of bringing more overwhelming violence to bear against them. Like I was saying before, the violence that the state does is not just going out and shooting people. It's hunger, it's houselessness, it's poverty. No one needs to be impoverished. There are people who live in my country who have as much money as half of the people in the country put together. Poverty is a myth, it is manufactured, it does not need to exist. If we want to fix the problems with this country, those are the problems that we have to fix. And we know that because the people who have been stopped, the people who were stopped by force, like the Black Panthers, for example, were people who worked to fix those problems. Like the Black Panthers famously had the school breakfast program, where they fed hungry children, who then behaved better in schools, right? And, like, we're not going to fix capitalism. Capitalism is functioning exactly how it is intended to function. You are supposed to be hungry, you are supposed to be anxious, you are supposed to be tired, you are supposed to be scared. Because that makes you a more effective cog in the system. We fix those problems by acting in such a radically different way that the system does not function. And I'm gonna say the same thing I said in another video. It doesn't take a lot. It doesn't take a lot of effort. It just takes a little effort from a lot of people. You do what you can when you can. There are, in almost every place in this country, there are a handful of very dedicated people with a great deal of time, who spend a great deal of time doing these things, doing food drives, doing housing drives, and fucking getting communities together to fix the problems that their poverty has caused. Whether it be, like, fixing up houses, or, like, cleaning up trash in their area. Find those people and give them a little bit of your time. It only takes a little bit, if there are a lot of people. And that's how we're going to fix things, ultimately. With kindness. You are not going to defeat a system by doing the things that it insists that you do. If they want you to be violent, then you are not going to defeat them by being violent. And ultimately the system expects people to break into violence. That's why they have so much preparation for when people break into violence. That's why every time that even there's a peaceful protest, they say that they're violent psychopaths. Because they expect the violence. They want the violence. That's not how we're going to beat this thing. We need to be better. Not to them, but to each other. And that's all I have to say about that. I think I'm all said out. You know where the likes are, you know where the comments are. Leave one or both of them if you want. If you have a couple of dollars that you can spare towards the Escape from the Beige Void Fund, I would sure appreciate that, but no pressure. I'm still gonna need to be here for a while yet. So yeah. Until we get there, go out, do something important, and take care of yourselves. All right.